Welcome to your AI News Digest for April 13, 2026. We are tracking a massive story today, one that actually triggered a national security alert and sent a $2 trillion shockwave through the markets. Yeah, let's get right into it.
So let's dive right in with our lead story. It's a development that has, frankly, put the entire global tech ecosystem on high alert. And this quote you're seeing, it really says it all. All right, so what's all the fuss about? Well, it all centers on this new model from Anthropic called Mythos. We're hearing it has a 10 trillion parameter density. To put that in perspective, that makes it one of the most powerful AI architectures ever built, period. Here's the thing. Anthropic itself has deemed this model too powerful for a public release. Why? Because it can autonomously find and actually weaponize software vulnerabilities. Their own internal team concluded that releasing it would basically make cyber weapons cheap and easy for anyone to get. So they've been forced into this really unprecedented strategy they're calling fortress deployment. And what's so fascinating about this fortress deployment is that it's not your typical limited beta test. No way. This is a full-on containment protocol. They've restricted access to just 40 vetted security and tech giants, the big names like Apple, Google, NVIDIA. And the goal? They're using Mythos as a defensive shield. It's part of something called Project Glasswing, where they'll use it to simulate these hyper-advanced attacks to harden our critical infrastructure. The government's response was immediate. VP JD Vance got tech CEOs on an emergency call, and this is a huge deal. They're treating a private AI model as a matter of national economic security. This signals a massive shift. It looks like the era of light touch regulation for these big AI labs, that's probably over. Okay, so from national security, let's pivot to the financial fallout. Because a leap in AI this big isn't just a security risk. It's causing what you could call a tectonic shift in the software industry. And believe me, the markets are reacting in real time. $2 trillion. That's the estimated market value that has just been erased from the software as a service, or SaaS sector, just since the beginning of this year. We're seeing investors flee what was for a long time the safest bet in all of tech. And just look at the carnage here. These were former market darlings. Figma, Duolingo, even giants like Salesforce are in free fall. The market is fundamentally reevaluating what these companies are worth. So the big question is, why is this happening?
Well, it comes down to a concept the market is finally waking up to: seat compression. Think about it. The old software model was easy. One employee, one software license. But that's becoming obsolete. If one single AI agent can now do the work of, say, 5 employees, a company doesn't need 5 software licenses anymore. That fundamental link between how many people you employ and how much you spend on software, it's broken.
So while the entire enterprise software world is in crisis mode, something totally different is happening on the consumer side. Consumer AI is taking a massive leap forward. We're moving way beyond simple chatbots and into these deeply integrated personal assistants. Case in point, Meta. They just unveiled their new proprietary model called Muse Spark. And this is a really big strategic pivot for them. They've been all about open source for a while, but now they're creating this closed, highly optimized model. It's pretty clear they're making a play to own the entire personal AI interface. So this new model has different modes, from getting you instant answers to orchestrating multiple AI agents for really complex research. But honestly, here's the real game changer. It's integrated directly into Meta's AI glasses. The idea is for it to become a sensory layer for your life, literally seeing and analyzing the world around you in real time. We're talking about bypassing the smartphone screen entirely. But it's not all about productivity, right? What about entertainment? Well, this consumer AI revolution is fundamentally reshaping that too. Just today, Sony confirmed that the new PS5 Pro is going to have some seriously powerful AI upscaling tech. What does that mean? Well, basically, it uses AI to intelligently render games at a lower resolution and then scale them up to a crisp 4K or even 8K without a huge performance hit. This is a huge signal that we're moving from brute force hardware to intelligent software as the main engine for graphics. Okay, so with AI's power just exploding every single day, it's no surprise that governments are scrambling to regulate it. The big problem? They can't seem to agree on how to do it. So you've got this conflict. At the federal level, there's a big push for one single national standard, something that would block states from making their own stricter rules. But at the same time, states are going ahead and passing their own laws anyway. Nebraska, Maine, Missouri, they're all doing different things. This is creating what people are calling a compliance canyon, a ridiculously complex legal landscape for any developer to try and navigate. All right, for our last segment, let's connect all this back to the physical world. Because it's easy to forget, but none of this incredible digital intelligence just exists in the cloud. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. It all requires a massive, and I mean massive, industrial build-out. Just look at NVIDIA. Their new Vera Rubin AI platform is in full production. And guess what? The entire first run is already sold out. We've totally shifted scale here. It's not about selling individual chips anymore. NVIDIA is selling entire AI factories in a box. It's fueling what analysts are calling a $1 trillion demand cycle. Just staggering.
So what's driving this insane demand? It's something being called the intelligence divide. A new study from PwC found that the top 20% of companies are capturing almost 3/4 of all the economic gains from AI. This is creating a panic, forcing literally everyone else to spend huge amounts of money just to try and keep up.
And all that demand for hardware, it's having a huge ripple effect in the real world. It's driving what economists are calling a resource supercycle. The prices for the critical metals you need to build these AI factories, we're talking silver, copper, gold, neodymium, they are absolutely skyrocketing. It's a stark reminder that the future of digital intelligence is directly tied to the very physical world of mining.
So what's the big takeaway from all this today? It seems to be this. AI is becoming both a restricted weapon, a matter of national security, and at the same time, an incredibly personal sense, an extension of ourselves. And in a world like that, the ability to build and maintain trust and do it at machine speed might just be the only real competitive advantage left. It could be the only thing that separates the winners from the losers.